Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Margaret. Can you hear us okay?
I can hear you. Just because I don't have too much bandwidth, I'm going to keep my camera off.
Sure.
Do we have a quorum?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're waiting on two more people. Amy and Murphy.
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Now
Suddenly we have a quorum.
there's that remote there. I don't know if that does anything.
Went upstairs first.
Or if that's just.
Oh, the wrong place upstairs or you just?
No, it was,
It's not too bad.
I knew it was down here.
Oh, okay. How you quorum?
I can't recall, who's the chair of the PRC? Is it Margaret? Okay. Margaret, do you feel comfortable running the meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I can call the meeting to order if we have a quorum. And if you would please call the roll.
Sure, we do have a quorum, and Jim's not online, right?
Let me check. He did say if he was able to attend, he would be late.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and call the roll. Amy Swain,
Here.
Bernie Garitas,
Here.
Scott Paris,
Here.
Julie Thomas,
Here.
and Margaret Clements.
Here.
Okay, so we have 4 members in person and 1 member online, and we do have a quorum.
Okay. And I'm just trying to pull up the packet here while I'm traveling, but I think we only have one case tonight, right? And
Yes.
Drew is the planner. So concerning REZ 22-4, Young Trucking Construction Shop rezone from IG to HI at 1238 North Lesh Road. Drew, if you would please guide us through this, I'd be grateful.
Thank you. All right. So this is the, as Margaret stated, this is the Young Trucking Construction Shop rezone. They're going from IG to HI, or general industrial, to I industrial, or heavy industrial, excuse me. The petition site is one parcel totaling 8.5 acres. It's in Mission Township at 1238 North Loesch Road. The petitioner is proposing to amend the zoning map from general industrial to heavy industrial for the purposes to establish a trucking terminal on the property. A previous use determination, use 22-4, identified the proposed use as a trucking terminal. There was also an appeal to that determination that came through, but the Board of Zoning Appeals upheld the director's determination for trucking terminal based on the provided information and the proposed activity. If the rezone request is approved by the county commissioners, so the petitioner intends to complete planning process for the trucking terminal. That means full commercial site plan requirements, as well as the special condition 31 as outlined in the O2 for the trucking terminal use. And the site plan review will be performed by administrative level by the staff. There was a grading permit issued prior to the rezone request for this property for the owner. That grading permit is IG 21-45. This was issued in November 2021. And based upon some submitted plans by the petitioner and petitioner's representatives, it appears that the grading performed was completed in an existing drainage easement. You can see this in Exhibit 3 of the packet. Planning staff will work with petitioner and county stormwater team to rectify this issue and continue on through the process. If the rezone is denied, the petitioner may pursue any of the available permitted uses under the general industrial zoning district, obviously subject to commercial site plan requirements and any associated special conditions. So here we have some more background for the petition. We have the definitions of general industrial as well as heavy industrial within the respective zoning districts and chapters. We also have the definition of chapter 802 for trucking terminal, a terminal facility used by highway type property carrying vehicles, which may include truck maintenance facilities. Special condition 31 reads, site shall be screened with landscaping or an opaque fence or wall to a height of at least 6 feet. I also included some of the use determination info here. This was pulled from the use determination that came about, I believe, in 2021, as well as some information regarding the appeal for that administrative decision and the results of that by the Board of Zoning Appeals. If you have any questions about any of this, we can come back to it.
Should blow this up just.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right, yes. Okay. Yeah, so like I said, we can come back to this if we have any questions.
I'm unable to see all the panelists, so if you could help to recognize them. I'm not, for some reason, able to see the panelists if they have their hands raised to be recognized. So I would just beg of the members of the Plan Review Committee, if you have questions for staff, to please do so in an orderly manner.
Thank you, Margaret. All right, so next up items here, we're going to go through the some of the exhibits and images we have. This is a location map, Birchland Township. Here we have the existing platted subdivision, the Curry and Loesch minor subdivision. This property is located in lot 3, which is the northwest lot of this platted subdivision, as you can see here. And then here we have the zoning map, currently zoned IG. Some of the surrounding zoning is also IG. We have some limited industrial, or excuse me, light industrial to the west and north, and then limited industrial, the aqua color to the north. We don't know, this map does not show any heavy industrial, but we will continue on. There is more information about that. Site conditions and infrastructure. Again, the petition site is 8.5 acres. It's platted. It's currently vacant other than the recent grading work that has been completed on the property. We have some images that will, and a survey that will show that. The site is accessed via a 50-foot ingress egress easement stemming from North Loesch Road. So this extension here we have in the site map, or excuse me, the slope map. This is the easement. So it's a private drive off of North Loesch. It's not located in an environmental constraint overlay. There's no floodplain, and there are no evidence of karst sinkhole features on the property. However, there is a portion of property in the northeast corner that is in a drainage easement or stormwater detention area, as it's specifically defined in the final plat document that we just looked at. Highway department, they don't have any comments other than stating that the driveway is located on a private roadway, and stormwater doesn't have any comments at this time for the rezone request. All right, so now we just have some site images, aerial imagery here. Here's one of the newer ones. This was taken in 2020, so you can see the development of the grading work here on the site. The drainage easement, as you'll note in the later exhibits, kind of cuts right through here, going north-south on the property.
So I have a question.
Sure.
The area that's graded there,
Mhm.
obviously they graded it for a reason. Is that where the facilities are going to go?
We do have a site plan as one of
saw
the
that.
exhibits.
But I'm assuming that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I think they were prepping the site for future development. But I'm not sure if they knew exactly what they were going to be doing before the rezone request and before that they did that.
And that is the planned access road, I think, from the depiction that you had on the chart.
This road here?
Right there,
Oh, here?
going up to the graded area, is that going to be their access point?
Yes, I believe so.
I think that's right.
That's where the shop is.
That's their driveway.
Yeah,
That's right.
looking at their proposed site plan, it's just a little bit, it's probably about where it is. So here's some boots on the ground photography taken of the site. There's no real concern for slopes, as we saw on the slope map, other than a few minor areas that will not be developed. Comprehensive plan has it designated as MCUA employment. And then we have some explanation here of that designation. Lots of information here. These are the findings of fact for the rezone petition, and if I can get through here. This is the letter to the Plan Commission from the petitioner/petitioner's representative, basically stating their intent for the property, as well as their acknowledgement of the comprehensive plan as MCUA employment. We can come back to this, and the petitioner's representative is here this evening if we have any questions for her regarding this letter and their intent for the property. Here, this is just page 2 of that request letter. All right, this is the site plan, proposed site plan we have submitted by the petitioner. So yeah, as you can see here, the access road. Yeah, right there. So they don't have the exact location of the current development underlaid this site plan, but definitely provides good information on what to expect from sensitive structures. And here we have the petitioner site survey as well. This does have the existing gravel and grade work. So, you know, there might be actually a little bit difference of a location for access. So we might have some questions for the petitioner regarding that. You can see the drainage easements located here on this document. It kind of just cuts right through. I also included here a list of permitted uses currently in the IG zone, and then fairly limited, being a Chapter 833 zoning district, and then we have the permitted uses in the HI zone. Definitely more availability here with respect to this zoning district. All right, so that leads me to the planning staff's recommendation to Plan Review Committee. Staff recommends forwarding a positive recommendation to the Plan Commission based on the petition's compatibility with the Monroe County Comprehensive Plan. I will not take any questions.
It looks like from the site work and the site plan, it looks like the access is going to be a little bit to the northwest of where the existing cut is. I'll read this right a bit. So what's the difference between the construction shop and trucking terminal?
Yeah, so the use determination we have here. Let's see. Trucking terminal is not listed as a permitted use in Chapter 833, and there was a lot of explanation as to why it would be considered trucking terminal. I did not include that section.
Wasn't this, and I'm going back in time now. We had a site that we looked, and I think this was maybe at the BZA, maybe not, maybe it was the Planning Commission, where they had a site on South Bowman Lane or just off 69. And I thought that they had this one secured for what they wanted to do at the time. And this is probably going back 3 years or 4 years, maybe. And then they kicked over and they went to the site by the Gilman plant. But they had this one that was a use determination that worked, that they decided to go down. Was that at the Planning Commission, Julie? Do you remember that, or was that at the BZA? It might have been at the
For
BZA.
this exact site?
Well, no, this was the site prior, and then they moved to the Dillman Road, or by Dillman Treatment Facility. And I thought that this site was already secured for this use at that time. It doesn't matter, I mean, the petition's in front of us, I just,
We had a storage place on Dillman, but then we had the Victor,
no, it was in that Robinson Industrial Park,
yeah,
as you go further south down
I
to
think that was.
remember what I'm talking about? You went down and you go down the road in Robinson Industrial Park, you get to the very south end of Tony Dillman the treatment facility.
That was where
And
this
then-
was gonna go.
They looked at this at one time, but prior to that, it seems like I remember from the BZA that they actually had this site that they were gonna do first, but selected the other. I'm just trying to understand
Yeah. No,
that we
that's
were
good.
here at one time, I thought. But
Yeah.
anyway, that was my main question for now, so.
Yeah.
This is an ancient history, it's within 3 or 4 years, so.
I think, no, I think that's-
Every day seems like a week.
Yeah, okay. And maybe Chelsea. Maybe Chelsea.
I don't know. I can go ahead and speak or. It's up to the PRC if you guys would like to take questions from the public or.
Margaret's okay.
I'm okay with anything that you all, if you, I'm not able to really see anybody if they have their hand raised for some reason. I guess it's my technology right now.
We're
But
also using the owl, Margaret, and
Yeah.
it will center on the person, like right now, you can see me because I'm talking.
okay, is that you, Amy?
Yes.
Oh, hi. Okay, great. Okay, so, so just, I can't recognize people, so just speak as, and ask questions, and I'm sure the staff will be gracious and just let me know how I can help.
Thanks, Margaret.
We just appreciate you being here.
Thank you, thank you.
Hey, Margaret, my name is Chelsea Moss. I'm with Abram Moss Design Group. We're the engineer for Young Trucking on this project. And BG, I think what you're referring to is a prior use determination that Carly had done with Greg. He was looking at about, I think, 3 different sites at the time. And there was a previous use determination for this, and at that time, the determination was, I think, industrial center and construction shop. But that's why we went through the appeal process, was kind of
Okay.
that change.
Okay.
But at this point, we're in the rezone
Okay.
approach based on the appeal process. So I did want to and touch base, Drew, you mentioned that drainage easement, that's that some of the fill's going over. And just to clarify, so that's not that drainage easement is not intended for above ground surface drainage. There is a drainage pipe that is running over there. So we can fill over it, we just can't put a structure over it. And that's why we have that fill going in there. In fact, but overall plan, we're looking at putting some of the parking lot over there, so over that. So you could maintain the pipe just like you would any other storm pipe under there if need be. You just can't put structures on that portion. Now, the upper portion where the detention is, that is easement for above ground surface, so we won't be disturbing that, except for maintenance needed to keep that detention area working properly. So, so the pad that is out there, basically regardless of Young Trucking has fill material they've got to put everywhere, they've got time lists to put it. And so in the interim, while Greg and I are working on this, this is an area that he is putting fill. We know for the final site, he needs to fill substantially. It's relatively flat out there, you can see from the pictures, but it's actually several feet below the adjacent roadway. So you kind of like drop down and then it's flat. So for the entire site, we're looking at between 2 and 5 feet of fill across the site. And so whether Greg develops this, whether this all goes through and he continues, or if he turns around and sells it, somebody's gonna wanna fill that area to develop on it. And so that's why we went for the grading permit. We're actually gonna be turning around here and wrapping up the plans right now to amend that permit, and fill a larger area. Again, ideally to put the site, go down development of the site, but even if these plans don't go through, it would direct the site for a future buyer. The entrance has shifted. I think after we applied for that initial permit, we determined we wanted, I think, about 20-foot shift to the west or so is what is happening. But overall, again, the fill that's happening isn't necessarily prepping for this specific plan, it's prepping the site in general. And Greg's aware if he needs to adjust some of that, we'll do that as the final construction happens.
So really, there's no small material twice.
Mhm.
This-
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and actually, like, that area gets filled, even though it's not gonna be the entrance. If for some reason this doesn't go through, the actual grading permit plans show that the fill would go in and then it gets topped with 6 inches of topsoil, seed straw grass, and then it's ready for development for a future site owner. So from a grading permit standpoint, that is set up so that it is in itself can be complete. We get approval to through with this project, though, let's transition that over to the site.
When I was looking at it, it seems like it's not, doesn't have any karsts on it, it's not in floodplain, it's got the nice little, transportation spur to go down, Roche to Vernal to, Curry 46 and then I-69, so it doesn't have to, add to traffic on West Third, which was nice. I looked at the GIS map and the intent for that area is to go, as I understand it, heavy industrial. So it fits with the plan. I didn't see any red flags on this one, unless I'm overlooking something. But this seems like a reasonable result request. And then keeping the comprehensive plan.
Are there any residential concerns? Okay, like pop-ups here and there, there's not much out there, right?
It looked like it was on the opposite side of where they wanted the proposed house.
But nobody's complaining about.
Oh,
I've received a couple calls and I've received a couple calls from neighbors saying, does he want to buy our property?
I think the thing that concerns me is when somebody comes in and says, well, we're gonna do this, but if it doesn't work, then it's prep for selling to someone else. So I just would say that as the planning commission reviews this, that they look at all of the uses in heavy industrial and ensure that they're okay with any one of those uses being okay here, because when you okay it, it means it's okay
all
for
of the
anybody.
uses,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's all I would say about it.
You know, could we look at that use table again for heavy industrial and perhaps we could ask the petitioner to limit some of the uses? Let's take a look at that together, if you don't mind, that heavy industrial use table.
Is this only this is only HI, do you have one of IG or no?
Yeah, IG is right before this.
Oh, okay. We can do a comparison of what's being added.
Mhm. This is the existing zoning permitting uses. That's that right there. fairly short list for this one, of course.
And it was decided that a trucking terminal, go back one, it was decided the trucking terminal would not fit in this IG zone, right? None of those categories.
Well,
So the issue is, the trucking terminal, it's not that it's not permitted, it's not listed in A 33. I'd like to clarify that, like, it's not that it is not permitted, it's not listed, and so the assumption was
If
that.
it's not
since
listed, it's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so in 20, I think it was 2016, we did the text amendment to add the trucking terminal use. And at that time, we only added it to 802. I think arguably we could have looked into adding it to 833, but didn't at that time. So I think the current zoning, general industrial and heavy industrial have a lot of similarities when we look at the two use tables, although 833 is short. And HI is very long, it still has a lot of overlap, and we consider those to be pretty similar when we're looking at doing the comprehensive plan and the county development ordinance. We'll be looking at very similarly, are the IG areas are pretty well suited to become HI. So I don't think, yeah, I just want to clarify that it wasn't added in 2016, and so there was, yes, there was an administrative appeal that it wouldn't be permitted under business or trades, but because of the nature of the use, it was determined it was still trucking terminal, which is not allowed in IG. So,
For me, the remote garbage and rubbish removal one is a use that I think would be something we should discuss, as well as wastewater treatment facility and water treatment facility. We just should talk about it and make sure that we'd be okay with that. I think that those are maybe bottled gas storage and distribution too, because of its, but there can be, although there can be disasters with some of those things. So we just take a look at these and let's make sure we have a robust discussion about whether or not we want to limit any of the uses if we rezone this to intensive. That's my only request. And that's what you were saying, right, Julie?
Yeah, that's my concern, and I agree with the trash waste site. I think that's just not appropriate for this area. But hey, we can do musical instruments, so. That heavy industrial. So anyway, yeah, so I agree with you, Margaret, that, and a lot of this is, the land is not gonna be big enough for some of these things anyway, even if they wanted to do it, sell it for these things. So yeah, if the petitioner doesn't mind working through some of those, that list and taking some of those, I mean, those are the real concerns. I don't think it's beyond that,
Thank you, Chelsea, for, talking with us about that.
Definitely, yeah, I think, so my client was okay with the current zoning, so I think he will be open to that. Let me know, I guess, which ones, I understand the wastewater treatment, water treatment, gas and trash disposal are the ones that I've kind of noted.
There's no houses nearby, so kennel's okay.
Cultural stuff are too.
Yeah. It'll be okay.
It looks pretty good. I mean, it looks pretty good and staff recommends approval. And
I think the rock crushing is an issue just because of dust it creates, but not much else. Yeah. I think those are the only ones I noticed before.
rock crushing, remove garbage,
Yeah.
wastewater.
You go on the right side all the way back up.
Paper products is so generic. I don't know that. Pretty cool.
I think the
I don't think
remote
it's
garbage
supposed to
is,
be
remote
know,
garbage,
yeah,
I
I
think
mean,
is
it's
actually
only an
conditional.
acre, so it's a plant.
Is what?
Yeah.
It's conditional, I would say HOA, that this table.
You're not gonna move your out.
You could,
They're, the neighbors do, so.
That's
The neighbors do.
you might have a hard time getting a permit from the city for sewer, but you can do it.
We do have, I noticed this wasn't in the packet, but it is uploaded that we, do have a will serve from CBU. And.
But not for.
No, for this use, for the
Okay,
proposed use, we have a will serve from CDU. And we also, I spoke, or I emailed with, my department today. They will need to put, additional fire hydrants in the area. That is a concern, so, we're already working on that.
So scroll down. Right hand side.
Looks like your client Chelsea is going to preserve, or it looks like you're not really utilizing part of the western strip of the site where there's
Yes,
trees. Okay.
the majority of the trees along that western and western end will be keeping. We may get into a little bit of brush on the edge, but, it'll have a natural buffer. You really won't see it from
That's great.
lush. You're really not gonna see any of it.
And I think Dave Schilling would tell us we can't remove adult oriented business. It's permitted now where they're at in IG. I think Dave Schilling would tell us we can't remove that. But you ask him.
Where's that at again on the left side? I thought that was
It's
in
just over multi-use. Ironically enough. Sorry.
Is that also listed at IG?
I'm tired.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, that's right. I thought I
It's,
saw.
yeah, it's in both. So I don't think we can remove. I don't think everyone, but I don't remove, but.
And well, and we can also do the evaluation of whether it's even, because in the chapter they have those frame requirements from schools and residences, so we can
Oh,
also
yeah,
just
right.
see if it's even able to.
Churches, I think it would be.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is great, and I appreciate, the natural buffer, I think it's really smart because of light and noise and. Criminal.
Yeah, and we'll be required along the north end of the lot to do screening. And I think the minimum is like an opaque fence. Greg is wanting to do actually a 6-foot berm with trees along top of it, so it'll be even a more substantial buffer than is required.
Well, I suppose, are we ready to kind of as a plan review committee to give a favorable recommendation, but with the request to seriously review and discuss whether or not we'd want to have wastewater treatment, garbage, stone crushing, and or sewage there, and whether or not the plan commission would want to limit those uses for this property in this zone. Am I missing anything?
No, that would be a commitment from the petitioner, so we just ask that they agree to that commitment,
Yes,
and then it goes to the planning commission.
Yeah. They would amend the list and we're going to present that to the planning commission.
do we vote on this, Jackie?
I think it's helpful if you have a favorable or unfavorable
I'll talk to the
recommendation.
client, but I do.
Yeah,
I'll be open to it, so.
If someone wants to make a motion or just send comments, if you want to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of us would be.
So if we're all thinking it's a positive recommendation, I think we would send it out.
Yep.
Okay,
Positive.
Is that what you want to do?
you can start that motion if you like.
All right, Matter, can you put the the deal up there for the group. In the matter of case number REZ-22-4 Arrow Properties LLC, 1238 North Lowe's Road. Rezone request is from IG to HI. I move that we forward this with a positive recommendation to the Monroe County Planning Commission with the comment that the petitioner is going to look at some striking some of the uses on the HI use table. Is that cool?
That's cool.
Okay, so there's been a motion and a second. I'll call the roll. Bernie Garrett,
Yes.
Scott Barris,
Yes.
Julie Thomas. Amy Swain,
Yes.
Margaret Clements.
Yes.
So it's positive recommendation, 5-0.
Thank you, Chelsea, for coming and for sharing with us what you, what you'd like to have happen at this property.
Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you. Well, are we finished, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes, I don't think we have anything else on the agendas.
Sure nice, to see you virtually. Sorry I couldn't make it in person, but I'll see you soon.
Okay, we talked about you before you got on, so you're all good.
That's okay.
I'm just glad you weren't driving while you were trying to go through the Zoom stuff, Margaret.
Yeah.
How do you know?
Because I know you're too smart for that business.
Okay. Okay, well, take care, everybody. Have a good night.